Okay, so this is part 3 here. We're going over the third bullet. We're writing equations in point slope form, and this time we'll be doing so when we're given a graph. Okay, so again, just to review, point slope form of a line is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, when you have a graph, if possible, you want to use rise over run to kind of count the slope. If that's not doable for one reason or another, and I'm not sure why that would be, but if it's not, you can always determine 2 points that are on the line and you can use the slope formula, okay? In this video, I'm going to use rise over run just because I think that's easier for you guys, okay? So let's scroll on down to example 3. We've already done examples 1 and 2, okay? In example 3, we're going to find the equation of the solid line first in point slope form. And then we're going to find the equation of the dashed line next, okay? So I'm going to move to the graph now, so let's do the solid line first. Okay, so I've already marked up the graph here. We've already learned how to count the slope using rise over run. So if you can look, you can see there that the rise is positive 3 from the 2 points marked in blue, and the run would be positive 1. Okay, we know the slope is positive because the line is going up from left to right. So the slope is 3 over 1, okay, or positive 3. The point that I'm going to use is negative 3 comma 3. Again, you can use any point along the line that you know the coordinates of, okay? And we would know multiple coordinates here. But I'm going to use negative 3 comma 3. Okay, so let's go back to the document and go over the equation. So using the information we just laid out, okay, we know the slope is 3. We know the point that we're going to use is negative 3 comma 3, and we're going to plug these 3 values into our point slope form. Okay, so again, we're going to plug positive 3 in here for y1 because that's the y coordinate. We're going to plug positive 3 in here for m because that's the slope, and we're going to plug negative 3 in here for x1 because that's the x coordinate. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and clean everything up here. It was y minus positive 3 equals 3 times x minus a negative 3, and that minus a negative became plus a positive 3. Okay, so this is the answer for the equation in point slope form of the solid line. Now again, notice this is the equation when you use this point. If you wanted to use another point, you could. It would change this value and this value, but this 3 is always there because that is the slope of the line. Okay, let's look at the dashed line now. So for the dashed line, again, I've already marked up the graph here. I'm going to use the y-intercept and the x-intercept here to help me find the slope. The y-intercept here is at 0, 3. The x-intercept is at 5, 0. Okay. The line is going down from left to right, so I know the slope is negative. Okay. So the rise here, that's a positive 3, or 3, we'll call it 3. The run here is 5. Okay, and we know the slope is negative, so that would be negative 3 over 5, or negative 3/5. Okay, for the purposes of this equation in point slope form, I've decided to use the x-intercept here, 5, 0. You could use the y-intercept at 0, 3. You could also use this point right here if you wanted to at negative 5, 6 would also work, okay, based on what we see here. Remember, with point slope form, there are multiple correct answers. But again, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use the point 5, 0 to write my equation. Okay, let's go back to the document. So like we said, we're going to use the slope of the line, which was negative 3/5. Okay, I decided to use the x-intercept here, 5, 0, because the line goes through that point. Okay, I'm going to replace y1 with 0 because that's the y coordinate here. I'm going to replace m with negative 3/5. And I'm going to replace x1 here with positive 5. So when I do that, I don't have any signs really to clean up here. It's just going to be y minus 0 equals negative 3/5 times x minus 5. Again, generally we would, get rid of this y minus 0 and just call that y. But in point slope form, that 0 really is necessary because it tells us one of the y coordinates for one of the points on the line. Okay, so that's how you write the equation in point slope form when you're given a graph.